what's going on? I had a
What's
massive
up?
freeze and I'm back. So sorry about that. This is Celso Oliveira, of course, section 128. I'm here with Eric Holstrom. Good to see you, Eric. It's been a while. How you been, buddy?
Been good, man. Been good. It's been the break. Watching a ton of World Cup and just waiting for LAFC to get back so we can live and die with this team.
Yeah, bro. Like, good to see you again. And of course, we've been on the World Cup break. So for all of you that have been enjoying the World Cup, welcome back to reality, the reality of Major League Soccer, the reality of LAFC. This is our team. I invite you to sit back, relax. I got a new chair here. Now we're going to try to make this very comfortable for you. And we appreciate you being here to talk about the black and gold. As Eric and I were talking in the beginning of the show, or before the show, I should say, we already had some roster news, Eric. Nathan Ordaz on the move, and maybe David Martinez as well.
No.
What are your first kind of like thoughts about like roster movement and where LAFC is to this, let's say to this minute, given that we have an open window now with again with Martinez being with Ordaz being transferred to DC.
This is shout out to Omar in the chat, but right behind there, you see that is David Martinez at practice today. That's on Schaffelberg's Instagram. So Martinez is practicing with the team. So that's
of course he'd be right. So the truth is he can practice with the team, but if he doesn't suit up, and maybe that's because he doesn't want to get injured in a friendly game. As again, they're working on details of a transfer, but I said to you I wasn't going to speculate about a transfer, and here I am already.
Right away. We didn't even get into anything.
Let's reel back here. Let's just reel back because we are a little bit rusty. It's been about a month, right, or more since we had a show. And let's start first of all with your experience, the World Cup experience, not having LAFC on TV. How's it been over the summer to just see some of the LAFC guys on TV, but not necessarily see LAFC playing?
It's been pretty nice, man. Actually, I've been able to watch quite a bit of the World Cup. One of the great things about it is coming on at normal hours. It's not like we're having to get up at 1 a.m. or 3 a.m. to watch games or anything like that, or get up at 4 a.m. or 6, to see it in the morning. So that was really cool. Interesting World Cup with all the new teams. We saw, I think, some cup sets that we normally wouldn't have seen out of teams like Cape Verde. Paraguay upsetting Germany was pretty big too. But, it's a lot of bad officiating. Like, that's a whole new thing. And I think watching the rest of the United States people that don't get into soccer kind of get into it and start talking about the game and even get into details, to me, is great to see, because it just shows that the game is growing more and more here as people get into it. Obviously, then there were the downfalls, like Brazil, being married to a Brazilian and you being Brazilian, like that sucked. U.S. national team's last game sucked, but whatever. We're back to LAFC, ready to do this.
Yeah, bro. And then like I brought it up the cup because I got to see Canada, where all the LAFC players basically were the ones that went to the World Cup, and I got to see Steven Eustaquio, for example, command the midfield for Canada. Definitely one of the better players in the Canadian roster. That was pretty cool to see. But beyond that, Schaffelberg, the crossing machine. That man can cross better than anyone in our roster, and you saw that also on the national team. So I like to see both of them. I was surprised to see Maxime Crepeau out there. It's weird. It was really weird to see him preparing because it brought back a lot of memories of 2022, even when we won the cup and he was the goalkeeper for us. And it's crazy. He's having a horrible season in Orlando, right? But to see him, do what he did for Canada, go farther. I was really happy for Crepeau given the history he's had with LAFC. But yeah, I think Canada was really the highlight. What's up?
Oh, I said, he missed the last World Cup because he broke his leg in the final.
Correct. So he got to go to this one and actually be the goalkeeper, and really got to see him go through the emotions on that the South Africa game, right? So best of luck to him. He's got.
Before we move off this subject, how many games did you photograph at the World Cup, and how was that like on the sideline shooting photographs?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was like going to like university, bro. Like, because there's a lot of great photographers next to me. I got to go to several games at SoFi, which it's a phenomenal place to watch a game. And the two Spain games were great. The talent that they bring, the way that they pass the ball. I'm very high on Spain. I really hope they beat France. Again, just the experience of having these world now photographers next to you was unbelievable. I got to learn how they post, use, once you get the photo, what do you do with it? So the whole processing of it. And what was awesome is that us as photographers got to rent equipment from Sony, Canon, Nikon. I was shooting a $17,000 lens that I would never imagine to
Wow.
own in my life, right? And I got to rent that for the game. I didn't even know the price. And then I got home and researched. I'm like, oh, really? It's a $17,000 lens. No wonder the freaking pictures just look good by themselves. So it was great. I hope to take some of that experience to the field and to LAFC to continue to capture more LAFC pictures, better pictures now, better settings, better equipment. You just learn so much from it, right? And to try to bring more imagery and stuff to everyone. So yeah, great experience. I think overall ended up being like 7 games, bro. Like Seattle was great. The United States, to your comment earlier, I thought the US was one of the best crowds of the World Cup. Brazil was very flat. I know you're married to a Brazilian, but those Brazilians are not the same Brazilians that you would see at like a Palmeiras game. Very tame crowd. But I mean, beyond that, I felt that the US team, like not only at home, everybody's excited, but at the stands, like united, we stood, right? No division, no politics, none of that shit. It was just us trying to have a good time and show that we can compete with the big boys. And we did. I thought we did a good job. Belgium turned out to be a pretty good team. So that was my cup experience. But I am very excited to be back at this this LAFC season, because I think we left with so many unanswered questions, right? And we start with the coaching staff, for example, which everybody was hammering before the World Cup. And we saw a Son Heung-min that was actually very, subpar. It really looked a lot like what LAFC has shown, or he has shown at LAFC. So,
Yeah.
Any comments about what's going on with the Korean Federation, Sonny, and like now he seems like he might have to go back to Korea to do some sort of like, government appearance, but is there just a little bit of a bad cloud forming around this guy?
I think as an LAFC fan, and I'm sure a lot of other LAFC fans might have felt like this too, but it was almost like you were watching deja vu watching the Korean game, because they seemed like a game where the coach didn't really come out and assert tactically the match. The midfield really couldn't control the game at all, and they just really couldn't get the ball to them. Like they kind of got pushed to the outsides like normal, and kind of Sonny got blocked out of it. Like it looked like a lot like watching a bad day of LAFC is watching Korea in the World Cup, and they have a lot of talent on that team, so I understand why they're disappointed with it.
Yeah, I just really hope that Sonny finds something that he can rely on beyond, he's been a great stats guy, but he needs to score more goals. And I do believe it is this coaching staff's job to find him positioning to get more scoring done. After seeing the World Cup and some of the frustrations around the strategy that team had, I hope that they really use that experience to motivate Sonny and motivate this coaching staff to really find answers to get him to score for us. It does not make us any good if he's just a stats guy. And now we just lost one of our better, I would say, finishers in Nathan Ordaz. And we'll talk about the transfer window in detail. But before I go into the transfer window, there was another piece of news that broke that I wanted to get your kind of take on, which is good old Steve Cherundolo, speaking of coaches, actually coming back to coaching in the United States. Now, as you and I spoke, this is for a position that will not necessarily require him to live here. His family can still stay in Germany. But what did you think of the appointment of Steve Cherundolo for essentially what is going to be the Olympic team in 2 years? A massive job for Steve. What do you think of this appointment, and do you think he's going to do a good job?
Yeah, as kind of sour as I got on his tenure at LAFC, I do think Cherundolo will be a much better national team coach than he would. I know this is the U23 team and the Olympic team, but just something to this just tells me that he's going to be coaching the team in 2030. And I do think that
The main team, you say?
I think there's got to be a good chance of it. Like, to me,
Yeah,
this
I think
looks
he's the
very
big
much.
guy. Yeah,
This
he's the
looks
big
like
guy.
this looks like him going to coach the Las Vegas Lights in 2021. You know that, or I think it was
Just get your
2020.
stripes. Get your
Yeah.
stripes. Get it. Get within the federation. Know who the big
Oh,
guys are.
he's already a federation guy. Like, everybody
I
knows
agree
he's
with that
always
because he
been.
was a captain, and
He's an insider guy. You know,
and he's not like some of the guys that will speak the truth, right? Like, and some of the guys have said that it's really hard to operate within the federation. It's why we're being set back.
if we delve into all the drama and gossip with the U.S. Soccer Federation, like,
Well, look at Jermaine Jones.
we'll
Jermaine
miss our
Jones just
LAFC.
came out and hammered, bro.
Yeah,
He came out and hammered it, and then because Jermaine Jones is not, he's not a
I
badge
don't
guy.
I don't want to get into that.
But I'm bringing it up because it's Chirundolo, and Chirundolo. I bring it up because I was surprised to see him take the job, and I know maybe that was not a job in Germany, and he couldn't afford to not be employed anymore. But for you to do this whole thing and us to release you and be okay with your relocation, and literally 6 months later, you take a job with the federation of the country that you chose to leave, it seems to me like you did not want to be the coach anymore, and you use your family as the excuse to leave. That's what it looks like.
Well,
it's the optics of it, right?
I think both can be true, because I think a national team manager doesn't need to. He can do that job from Germany. And looking at this, if he ends up with the first team at all, most of the first team American players are in Europe. And at some point, they can probably hold camps in Europe and just ship the MLS guys who are the bench over there and keep the core starter guys just flying locally on that.
And not watch MLS games anymore. Not watch our youth guys. Not come here and see Kevin Sullivan, and not come here and see Javier Gozo. You know what I mean? Look, man, the U22s are going to happen. The players of U22 are going to happen. That roster are going to be built within, again, MLS next or MLS, the young guys here, and he's going to have to be here. I'm bringing it up because I thought it was really weird that he chose to come back after all this stuff about Germany. I don't think that he was being 100% honest with himself, perhaps, and certainly not with the LAFC nation. And by the way, he went on a podcast, a Bundesliga podcast, to say that one of the main things that he loved about Germany and the German soccer is the fact that they had so much passion, and those fans really, really raveled around their team. And I thought that was yet another dig at a team like LAFC. He had the best fans in MLS. And he goes on a podcast and says that the biggest difference between the two leagues is how much the fans give a shit. I thought that was distasteful. That's just me.
Yeah.
Anything to add there?
Whatever.
Okay, man. I mean, look, man, we're a debate show. I'm giving you something to talk about. You don't have to. But the truth is, he left, and now here we are with Marc dos Santos. Everybody's been bashing Marc dos Santos for 2-3 months now. We did win our last game against Seattle, and again, it looks like we're going through some roster changes. So let's talk about roster changes, because I know that's what we really want to talk about. So Nathan Ordaz is on his way out.
Let's start out. I think let's go back to the El Salvador game a little bit. We won that 1-3-0. The starting lineup was Lloris, Hollingshead, Porteous, Long, Sheberko, the new center back we picked up, the Ukrainian, Segura, Tillman, Delgado, Boyd, Ibobasi, Bouanga. And that's another game. Martinez didn't suit up that game, wasn't on the bench, wasn't really seen in the stadium by any of the fans anyways. So that's kind of where the beginning of the show speculation went. Obviously, Ordaz is not in the bench, which during that game, everybody said, why isn't Ordaz playing during El Salvador? Well, we found that out because he got transferred out. So anyways, it was a 3-0 win. I think Ibobasi got a nice goal assisted by Bouanga. Hollingshead got a goal, and Delgado got the first goal with a nice shot from right outside the box. So that's kind of that. The only other thing really of note, I think, in that game is that Tillman got a little bit of a knocker on the 33rd minute, and Jude Terry subbed on for them. Love seeing Jude Terry sub into games. I think, especially with Ordaz going, our one academy like bright spot is not here. So I think Jude Terry is going to have to step up now and be the next, academy guy breaking into this roster. And, Matt Evans, the grasshopper too. So Matt Evans isn't going to be around either,
which is kind of a disappointment because in the beginning of the season, like that was one of the guys Marc really wanted to play a lot. And suddenly, like after what it looks like this, transfer window, we got rid of Matt Evans. Well, didn't get rid of him, but we loaned him out. Nathan Ordaz, a U22 initiative guy, is out. David Martinez is speculated to be gone to Bundesliga. But what that could mean it also is that we're opening up space for a third DP and moving away from this U22 initiative for DP for U22s, and we're just going to go all in on a third high caliber player. What do you think is going to happen there? What do you think the strategy is from just a designated player standpoint? Do you think that we're going to change it? And it would certainly open up, and again, Nate was one of those U22s. And if David moves now, suddenly we can do what we always wanted to do, which is has 3 DPs, right? Like the Bowanga, Sonny, and maybe even Eustaquio could just take that third spot there in the middle. What do you think is going to happen?
I mean, it's a lot. Another guy that did come in and got some minutes, I believe, was Baudry. Oh, what's up, Craig in Toronto? Oh man, look at this. Right,
what's this guy doing in Toronto?
I don't know. I got him right here.
Look at that motherfucker. Good for you guys.
Anyways, though, with the friendly, Baudry did come in and get some minutes. I know he was one rumored out, but apparently he got kind of lowballed. So hopefully he does stick around.
Yeah, I think the team's very high on Baudry. I think hopefully it was just injury and kind of freak accident again. So Baudry could be a nice replacement.
Yeah, and then your question was going to the third DP. I'm not sure. I think it's a bigger likelihood than it has of happening. One of the things the Ordaz trade did, and shout out to Ben Cox or Bensington on Twitter on this one, is he did point out that the Ordaz trade almost fills up our maximum GAM conversion allocation for the season. I believe he was like $2.3 or $2.4 million for him. And all of that can get converted to GAM, and you have a $3 million a year limit on GAM. So that sale does give us a bunch more money. GAM, you obviously can't buy down DPs. And so that's why I'm a little bit like, hold on to the third DP. It could happen, but, we just don't like to roll that way. And with all this GAM coming in, they might be looking to do some more depth and kind of get some positional guys that'll start going for next year, just to play devil's advocate. But again, I could see this is the most likely I could see that we could pick up a third DP. So you 3 DP.
I mean, we better.
Yeah.
How are we going to compete with, Rodrigo DePaul, Casemiro in the middle, Messi up front, and and Berté up front like that? You have to be able to put a team on the other side that is going to be able to show up against an Inter Miami that is that stacked, right?
Dude.
And I don't see you doing it with these promising U22s, right? That can allow you to buy things down. And yeah, it gives you an extra roster spot. We know how important it is to have depth, right? But, this is a one tournament year now for us. We have to just go all in. Doesn't it make sense to just sign Eustaquio back and bring him in as your third DP? And then suddenly you don't have a big hit with him. Did you see what he did for Canada? He was manning the whole team, bro.
No, yeah, he is. But you know what? JT does not like to bring in DPs anywhere except for the front three. He just wants DP attackers. He's been pretty public. That's his thing. Could that be an exception to the rule? I don't know.
The Canadian captain should be an exception to the rule. And by the way, he can score. He's a scoring mid. And once he was injured, our season was over. Our first part of the season was over. You can look up what was our record with and without him. I know he got injured very early, but you can see the quality.
From what I understand, he's had injury issues at Porto. He was injured half of the time that we had him in 6 months. Do we want to pick up a DP that's likely going to be injured half of the time he's here? I think it's a bad use of a DP if I'm going to be honest about it. So that's another reason I wouldn't want to go this direction.
You guys get injured too, man. Baudry got injured. Like I see what you're saying.
Baudry's not a DP.
And I think that but the U22s got injured too, and I see what you're saying. He does have a history of injury, and maybe that's what is going to separate him from us. But what a quality player! And again, if you're going to compete with Inter Miami, but if you're going to compete, like the Galaxy's not going to stop loading up, right? They're looking all right.
Miami's not the target anymore, Celso. You got to look at.
Well, it should be because we're going to have to play them in the finals, and like why we're going to allow Miami to just shit on us. I disagree with that. If we're gonna just play on a league that Miami's just gonna crush it all the time, I'm done. Like I don't want to be a part of it. LAFC has caliber, money, and ownership to compete with these guys. You just got to be able to keep going because they're not gonna stop. Just sign Casemiro. Just pick them up. Like, hey, come on, man. Just come over. We cannot stop. Not the time to stop.
Chicago fires third DP. Robert Lewandowski just arrived.
Lewandowski's here.
Kuipers, who's in the Golden Boot race, as another 9, and Bamba. They're going to have 2 9s up front.
They're going to be nasty.
Yeah, like I'm more worried about them right now than Miami. And if they're if you're looking at third DPs, like I'm not saying we're to bring in somebody like Lewandowski, but I'm not looking at it like a Eustaquio. But I'm looking at like let's shoot for the top on this one.
Okay, well, if there's a bigger name out there that is willing to do it and it can be plug and play, and maybe again, I like Raheem Sterling, a guy that actually plays more offensively than defensively on the midfield, and then we can find some grinders in there to complement them. Igor Jesus coming back, right? So I get it. Like maybe the 8's not the best place to put your, to build your team around it with the DP, but it has to be someone, because what I remember seeing of this team in the first part of the season is that the midfield was just not good enough, Eric. That was just not good enough quality. And as much as I respect and have respected JT's take on this whole thing of let's only use DPs up front, I don't think that's necessarily applicable to a player that can basically be a two-way player in the midfield and score some bangers for us. And we're missing this player. We are missing him.
100%.
And the last question is, why would you move Nathan Ordaz now, right? If you're not thinking of something bigger, is it just because he was just sitting there and this is the right time and you maximize the offer? Or is it because you're actually preparing something else and you're content with this roster? So the question is, how far is this roster from being perfect and able to compete at the very least with the rest of the West?
I mean, I don't have the exact quote, but I think JT said something to the effect of that getting some of these players back from injury is kind of like getting, just getting new players back on the team.
Sure. We got Long back, Igor Jesus coming back in the midfield. Okay.
Yep. But I mean, if Martinez is staying, then the Ordaz move makes sense, especially looking at they got Tyler Boyd, who also plays there, because it's like you got Son and Bouanga, that spot's locked down, and then the last spot, you now have Boyd, Martinez, and Ordaz. So just that alone, like somebody has to go.
Yeah,
and
absolutely. And Tyler Boyd, they're big on him, and
they
he's an expensive sign up, so they're expecting him to do damage.
Yeah, I don't really see what they're seeing. I mean, I don't hate seeing him on the field. Like, I kind of like his grind, but like, is this guy $1 million a year forward? Because he's practically making $1 million a year, which technically Nashville is paying a big chunk of that. But at some point, Nashville is not going to pay a big chunk of that, and we're going to be stuck with that bill. So is he that guy? Is he going to be like a starter there for 2 years? I don't know.
He certainly is. And by the way, he's done more damage against LAFC than Gabriel Pack has done in his time with the Galaxy. So it's a player that actually has scored and has had tremendous games against us and is now playing for us. So I hope that he will actually have a really good game against the Galaxy. So unless you have anything else you want to talk about transfer-wise, and I think given this is day one and we've been kind of, as usual, lazy about the transfers. We're usually the last ones to splash, not the first ones. I think we've talked enough about that, unless you have anything else to add there. The one thing I'll add is how much youth has walked out of that door, huh? Della Valle is gone. Nathan Ordaz is gone. Matt Evans is gone on a loan. So for a team that wanted to make more of their...
Adrian Wabowo got loaned out.
So again, for a team that wanted to make more of the youth, It's
On the
kind of
other
hard to
side,
see
we
them
have
all gone.
welcome to Christian Diaz, who got promoted from LAFC2 as a center back up into the first team. So
There he goes.
we do have that. So we'll see what happens with that if he can join with Nielsen and we can start seeing minutes out of our youngsters there.
Kenny.
But Nielsen's not really a young
Kenny, the oldest
he's a
young guy that we have, in Kenny, the young Nielsen. Yeah,
So,
no, I agree. I think there's going to be a little bit of wait and see with LAFC. In Marc dos Santos, man, he might be on a short leash if this team starts kind of coasting down. How much rope does he have? How much rope will JT give him if the team starts kind of coasting? Let's say out of playoff contention, for example, right? We're right now in a 4th, 5th spot, which is kind of how Chirando has fared over the last 2-3 seasons. So not much of an improvement with this guy right now. And, we know we had a nasty skid before the Seattle win, but let's talk expectations before this game, right? Let's talk expectations for the second part of the season, given that 2 titles on the line, Leagues Cup wouldn't be a bad thing. It's a big bunch of money that you get. And then you got, of course, the playoffs coming up. Expectations for that.
Expectations is a CONCACAF qualifying slot for the next season. Like, that's number one. Everything else, I think, is going to be frosting on the cake at this point. We got to make
the playoffs, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. If we don't,
outside of the play-in, please, just give me 3 games, right? At the very least.
Oh, I think that I've liked MDS, but I think he needs to be on a short leash at this point. I think his seat should be getting warm. If his seat is getting warm or not, I'm not sure. It's hard to know because they have a lot more patience in MLS for losing and dropping points than they do in other leagues around the world, which is, by design, which is okay. But yeah, nonetheless, we need to see a deep playoff run. LAFC needs to be a contender. We have pieces to do it. Everything's kind of up in the air though. So this, JT is going to have to work his magic and get this team upgraded in some spots. And, but regardless, with what we have, without much upgrades in spot, MDS does have to do better with this team. So Leagues Cup, as I said, we need at least a 3rd place to get into CCC. If we get better in the 3rd place, awesome. Losing another final would suck, but, and, at
least we got there, I guess.
But, it's
fun getting there.
In JT's press conference, he kind of said it again, getting to the final and, just getting to the final is a great accomplishment.
I think if you can get to an MLS Cup final in 2026, it's a massive accomplishment because it's such a deep league now. There's no easy games. There's, you're going to have to play some tough teams on the West before you can even think about the East, which is stacked. The East, like you said, is stacked.
The West is hot this year too. Like the West is playing better, or they were up to the break.
The West is surprising so far because you have certain teams that were not very good last year, and then they're looking better now, which leads to our next and final topic. The biggest game of the slate, which is LAFC, LA Galaxy, happening this Friday. LAFC putting a lot of chips on this game. I think they planned it really to try to get everybody back after the World Cup, so they wanted this feature game out. It's on a Friday night at Carson. Carson just sold their DP. Gabriel Pack just goes to Brazil now. He's a Cruzeiro player. So they're also rebuilding a little bit.
And got his first penalty kick blocked yesterday.
Well, I will tell you this: Cruzeiro's fans were very surprised of how much money their team paid for a guy named Gabriel Pack, because he has a valuation here, but he has a reputation there. So when they see that he was the largest transfer from LA Galaxy ever to another team, outgoing transfer. So it was a successful transfer for the Galaxy. He had a lot of goal contributions while with the Galaxy, right? But now he's going to a much tougher place where he was ostracized all the time and he hated being called out. And as you pointed out, it didn't start good for him.
Oh, he was called the People Quero at Vasco, like nonstop.
You call him all the time, and People Quero for anybody
because that was his nickname there. And I just kept it going.
When it comes down to it, just doesn't have it, right?
Yeah. So yeah, with this game, and I will say this
They
with
got
the recent
Glasney's
transfer fee.
now.
Look,
They got a crazy midfield. Again, it's a different Galaxy. We haven't talked too much about this Carson Galaxy team. And again, what do you expect of this? I think they have something to prove also. Do you expect a very hard game? What kind of tactics do you think both coaches are going to throw, given that it's the first game after such a long break?
I think that we're going into this game with in some of the worst form that we've ever went into a Trafico, short of maybe like 2021. And that was even hard because we were in the middle of the COVID, and so just everything was a little weird that time, anyways. But no, regardless, like we staggered into the break here, and we broke our record losing streak, right? We lost 4 games straight, and then we've kind of pulled one back. But no, this LAFC has been a bit of a disaster. They haven't been fun at all to watch, and so is this break going to do anything for them? Are they going to come out firing? And meanwhile, we have an LA Galaxy that has blown up their roster, and they're going to have Joao Klaus is going to pretty much be
Klaus is their forward now. Yeah,
he's going to be their biggest threat. Forward. And I mean,
Paintsil was extremely fast, and they're going to rely a lot more on Paintsil as well. And I read a couple of articles that Paintsil is going to be relied more upon, right? And you're absolutely right. Klaus now being another one of those feature players, and Royce, he's been okay for them and kind of like became a leader for that team. I'm worried, bro. Like, I think it's going to be a hard game, and it's going to like slap us right back into reality. And given that it is also an away game, right? Like, you have to just really go in there on a Friday night, kind of. It's kind of the Coliseum all over again, right? That big stage, smaller, of course, capacity, but that kind of vibe, right? It's that big stage, and you want to beat your opponent, you want to beat your rival. So, you mentioned the fact that you don't think the team's prepared. We're fragile. Is it because of roster composition? Is it because of injuries? What gives you this pause about this moment with this LAFC team? I mean, we just beat Seattle before the break.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the last 5 games we played and putting those all together, and that's kind of our form going into this. Like, we got a game back at the end. That was good, but we've had these 4 games before it of just not really showing up, not looking good. And so, is that the team that's going to come back from this break? I don't know, but I'm just saying it's kind of a wait and see. Like, I don't really know what to expect from this game, which LAFC is going to show up, and Carson usually show up at this game, but are they going to have the firepower that they need to have? And they haven't really all year. It's like Paintsil just comes back from a long injury and Peck's gone. So it's like they're basically never full strength against us, and they'll still play us tough. Like I said, we should be dog walking this team. On paper, we should be dog walking them, but we haven't been. We don't play up to opponents. When we have opponents worse than us, we slog along with them. And when we play stronger opponents, like, we just don't hit that next level. So, I retain my pessimism from going into this break, going into here. I want to see more. I'm hoping we see more. They've had the time to train. They've had some time to practice. So we should be able to see more, but it's like, I need to see it with these eyes.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I think we have to be very careful. I think if we don't lose this game, we're away. As I always say, this is really good for us. Frustrates your opponent that really wants you to go all in and try to get a goal and really destabilize the environment. I think LAFC needs to be extremely controlled and do not play into the Galaxy's euphoria of trying to win the game, right? And just control the pace, control the possession. Do not let them win the possession, how we saw in some of these games where it was 70-30 and LAFC barely touched the ball. That kills you, kills your lungs kills your legs after 75 minutes. You just cannot do this for the entire game. So I really hope that LAFC comes in, just defensive, compact, with a defensive mindset, right? But with the intent to keep possession. We have to find ways to keep possession. And most importantly, we have to find ways to get Sonny the ball to score. And Denis Bouanga has to be impactful again. He's not been the same guy this year. In fact, I think he missed the All-Star game. He's not there. He hasn't been called up, which is something to be said about a guy that like was one of the best players in this league. So, any thoughts about Denis' role and Sonny's role? And again, go ahead. You can give your starting lineup as well if you wish.
I mean, with Denis and Sonny they got to show up. They got to do their thing.
It's a big game too, bro. Like this is what you pay. This is what you pay the big bucks for. Yeah, score on the big games.
Denis had a pretty nice cross in the friendly game that Ebobisse volleyed in. Like that was nice. We need to see more of that, and we need to see Sonny in that position, as opposed to Ebobisse. So, though, this team is gonna.
Why are we talking about Ebobisse, my man?
Yeah, he had a nice. I got to shout out. He had a nice goal.
This is the El Trafico of Ebobisse and Klaus.
Yeah, so
that's like, welcome back from the World Cup, guys. Sorry.
Yeah. So at end of the day, just like it always, it's Bouanga FC. We're gonna live and die with him, and we got Son in there as well. So I guess it's the two partner FC, and that's it. And those guys, Sonny needs goals, Denis needs to get goals. Those guys, Sonny needs to get the ball. And then we'll see, because he wasn't getting it in Korea either. And those midfielders are better than our midfielders are. So
let's build this roster. Let's build this starting 11 here, and again, and the first question I have is like, do you start Martinez or not?
Yeah, I do. I think every time Martinez is on the field, we look better, like all season long, and even I think in the last season, it was kind of baffling seeing how much he has sat on the bench, because we're just more threatening with him on the field. So he should be starting. I'll have him in my starting lineup. If he's not in the starting lineup, then I think we can all like throw up the red flag and be like, all right, what the fuck is going on here? Because this is not right.
Or they just wanted Tyler Boyd to play.
Yeah. Boyd's beating out Martinez for that job, which is
crazy, right? It's just crazy to think
it doesn't pass the eye test for anybody in that entire stadium. Every single person. Part. Yeah, it makes us question, do we even know anything at this point? So, let's go line up on this one. I think we're gonna go Larice, Hollingshead, Porteous, Long. Maybe we'll see Schiberko again, because Palencia injured himself right at the end of the season, right? So maybe he's not.
Yeah. Palencia might be out for an extended period of time. So it's either Steady Eddie
we'll stick with.
Yeah.
And no, Schiberko is the third. I guess he's the third center.
Yeah, and again, you could plug in Eddie in there if you want.
Tafari, yeah. I'll put Porteous, Long, Tafari's. Let me start this over, because sorry guys, this is the first show in like.
Hey, we're all coming back, right?
Yeah, Maurice in goal. We're gonna have Hollingshead at right back. We're gonna have Porteous, Long, and Tafari at center back. We're gonna have Segura at left back, because Smolyakov just can't catch a break. And maybe Segura should be in this one anyways. Mm-hmm. And that leaves us with, probably Tillman and Delgado in midfield, although I wouldn't mind seeing a Baudry in there. But, and then the front is going to be probably Martinez, Son, Bouanga is what it should be.
Okay. Well, who is your third midfielder? Sorry. It's Delgado.
It's a 3-4-3. It's a 3-4-3. Okay. So there's only Delgado, Tillman, and then otherwise it's going to be Segura and Hollingshead pushing up from the wings.
Got it. Okay, that's not bad. And then let's go with your score prediction, Eric.
Oh man, Trafico is like the hardest game ever to predict. Let's just say MBS is
going to be a goal fast, or is it going to be a conservative game?
We're going to win 4-2 LAFC.
Okay, so crazy game, goes all the time, and LAFC
Boanga and Son
prevails with a
both
4-2
score
goal.
two. They both score 2 goals, and everybody's like, "Yay, Son is back! MDS is back! We're all back! Hooray!"
You're really serious? Like that you're that's it, huh? You think that's gonna happen?
I mean, what do I have to put?
Because I'm just thinking because that seems you're very high on LFC or you're very down.
Hey, Celso,
you're gonna get shit bag at home.
6 weeks off. I'm completely pulling this out of my ass, so I'm just going to be optimistic, and I'm going to say, yeah, we're going to run train on these guys.
I respect your optimism there. I did not share your optimism with, but I do believe we can win, and I would start the team a little bit different from you. Still with the same defense though. Maybe Porteous for sure. Long, we don't know if he's the starter there or not. It's hard to know what role he's going to play, but again, it's another guy we pay a lot of money just to be a backup. So I would hope Aaron Long, if he's ready to go, he's starting. So I would actually start Long in that back line somehow. The fullback situation is always the concern for me. Hollingshead is what he is. He's going to play, and I'm happy that he's here for us. The other one, probably Segura, in my opinion, because I think he's the better defender. And I don't know enough about Chaburko. Just stick him in a El Trafico and say, hey, go play and figure this out. I think that's the wrong approach there. 3 in the midfield, and anchored by Delgado out in the back. And then you would have Tillman and your I wouldn't mind seeing Boudry start. Just that's, you want to start with the change. Maybe put Boudry to start the game in the mid to give some more fluidity in our passing, because I don't see us getting that last pass to Sonny, right? So maybe if you get a guy like Boudry, which has a nice last pass, he might open up for your boy Sonny up front to put a ball in. So I would actually start Boudry in the middle, maybe again over, I don't even know. I'm also kind of rusty, buddy. And then up front, I think it's going to be Tyler Boyd, because I'm going to run with, also pull it out of my ass that he's not staying very long. So David Martinez is on his way out. We don't see him suit up. He's on the way to Germany, and we'll have, Scheffelberg being sort of the first one off the bench, with Tyler Boyd being the one that is starting. So
the Scheffelberg cross machine.
The cross machine. The cross machine that we got after we got rid of our best guy that could head all those in, which is great timing.
I do miss because Baudry likes to ragdoll defenders all the time. He just kind of runs and knocks them over with the ball. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing that again. Like, really want to see Baudry.
If you look at how LAFC has won this season, if they have a chance to win, it's if they keep the score very low. So I'm going to go with the win as well, but I'm going to rely on our defense doing so well during this game and frustrating the Galaxy so badly, and LAFC finding a goal either through Sonny or through Denis Bouanga. So a 1-0 win, frustrating for the Carson Galaxy, and LAFC gets 3 points on the road, and suddenly we're back, baby. We beat Seattle and the Galaxy on the road, and suddenly everybody looking at us like, whoa, they're back. And then we had another DP. All of a sudden, we're contenders again. That's the plan. Next month, we have Leagues Cup, so there's going to be so many games to talk about. We're going to have midweek shows as well, because there's going to be midweek games. Eric, I will pass it to you to talk to us about what you have planned. I know that you're going to be visiting. You're going to be attending some games. So tell us where you're going to be and which games you're attending here in Southern California when you come.
Yeah, I'll be back there. I have a little bit of work there. I'm gonna miss the Trafico. I wanted to go, but I got a little work I'll have to do. But I will be there in my Section 128 seats for the game against San Jose midweek, which that San Jose game midweek is going to be a big game, because San Jose is a very good team this year, coached under Bruce Arena.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and then
after that, you got one more game that you're gonna go?
Yeah, one more game. I want to say it's RSL the weekend after, right? Which also a very good game. Diego Luna, Gozo, which, Don't laugh because, gozo in Brazilian Portuguese is a very funny thing to say.
I know. I hate saying it,
Every
man.
time they say gozo, my wife just starts cracking up laughing.
Don't look that one up, guys. You don't want to.
No,
All right.
Don't look up gozo in Portuguese.
We were rusty today. I will say that 6 weeks is a long time to be away, but I'm happy to be back. I love watching LAFC, discussing it. We are certainly working with a lot of assumptions right now because it's been so long since we've seen this team. I appreciate you bringing up the friendly, but it is a friendly against a national squad. So it's just like, I can't even use that as a data point. Yay, we won. But what did we really win? I don't know. But I am excited to watch this game because we always know if the team is ready, if they show up for this game. If you get bagged on this game, right, it's already a poor sign of how your season's going to go. And I hope that we really show up. And it's a new season. Marc dos Santos, I think he has a little bit of a short leash. Someone very close to the organization told me that it is a mess this year compared to last year. Because Cherundolo was a very organized G-German system, man. And if you even watch Marc dos Santos on a presser, he cannot hold a thought. It is 10 things at the same time. It is crazy. So you can only imagine how he's running this team. So I think the leash is very, very short. Smart man, little bit of a crazy genius there, but he's got to reel it in and show us that he can win a Trafico, because that's where you get measured, in these big games. And this one's pretty big. Eric, thank you so much for being here, brother. 47 minutes. I always say it's going to be fast, but I kind of knew that once we put the preview of the game, it wasn't going to be. So thanks so much for everyone that showed up. We're here usually on Mondays. Please subscribe. YouTube is kind of the way to go because Eric kind of manned this chat really, really well and like to engage. Of course, understandably so, slow engagement day for us here. But after the Trafico, I'm sure we're going to have a lot of good conversations here. So please join. Please
next Saturday.
Subscribe button.
Next Saturday, we're going to go day after Trafico. We doing this?
No, it's going to be on Monday as usual, right?
All right. Monday it is.
Mondays, baby. 5 o'clock live here on your YouTube. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you next time.